but it looks so good.
It collects a lot of things.
It does.
It's so fucking funny.
Good energy.
So it is so just phased, laughing, just whatever the hell.
100%.
So fucking
Like,
funny.
every time I look at that now, I just think of my mom and just
Oh,
how
so-
tickled she would be. And just like, what
so
are you fuckers
funny.
ever
Yeah.
look at this?
So funny.
You dragged us across the country?
I mean, again, I don't want you guys to have to move, but I want you to have to move. You know?
Because we're gonna definitely
Yeah,
move
that water
fucker
wheel
with
stays
us.
here.
Yeah, it's not staying.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Santos and Fabio are going to be like, no, I like it. It
Oh,
acts
yeah,
actually
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what this backyard was missing? I didn't know, but now I
Cosmetic
do.
improvement to the property. I'm actually going to ask for a little bit more of my deposit once I'm on top of. I'm not even charging you the fucking water wheel.
Midsummer, because it's been a while since I've seen you guys. So I think it was the family came to visit like end of June.
That's
Brothers,
right.
all that
I
shit.
couldn't go to the game.
So we
wanted to go talk
Mon's
shit.
mom. Mon's mom got Monica like a big inflatable above ground pool, like one of those legit sturdy ones.
Yeah.
Has, like the braces and shit. Mon's wanted a pool forever, right?
Yeah.
We did the kiddie pools and whatever, and so we break out the pool and it's like me, my brothers. You know, my brothers are both like engineers in their own right. One is an actual engineer, the other works as an engineer in a company, and they're out there like doing the things and the hands on the chins and the kneeling down and the levels out.
Watermelon,
Yeah,
hubble,
right?
yeah.
And so they come back inside because I was like, I'm just, figure it out. You guys,
Whatever,
I
fucking
don't
take
need
the
my
wheel.
help.
You
Yeah.
guys have this shit.
And they come back in. They're like, there's too much of a slope to the yard in anywhere. It's not going to work. It's going to fall. And Mon's like, nope. Figure it out. And so like she called the landlord, our landlord Fabio, and got him to okay her moving in dirt to level out this area. And I'm like, you understand, like this is gonna kill all of that. Like we're gonna have to put all this stuff back in when we leave, right?
Yeah.
She's like, don't care. Want a pool. I'm like, okay, whatever, cool.
This is one supportive motherfucker.
This is the same
right?
water wheel,
Yeah,
lady.
dude, this is-
Well, but to be fair, like
Pool would be fun.
I'm more worried. Like my anxiety comes from like the work that I'm gonna have to do to turn things back around. Right?
Yeah,
and
at least
so
you
like,
can resod.
but I can still support Mon, and
Sure.
that's what I'm trying to do
Sure,
now.
sure,
It's like,
sure.
okay, I don't really care either way.
Yeah.
Like we'll figure it
It's a
out.
couple flatbeds worth of dirt, though.
Yeah.
At least.
Okay, so right, and I'm like, this is a lot of dirt.
This
You have to
is-
realize it doesn't look like a lot, but to like get this level, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Once you start packing it too.
And so and then I had to go. I think I went and taught a class or something. I came back home and they're filling the pool up, and they're like, "Well, we found the flattest spot, and we're just gonna try it." And it's a big ass pool. It's like a 10,000-gallon pool.
Oh
like,
my
it's a big
God.
fucker, right? And so they start filling up the pool.
I love
and
Mom's
I'm inside at 100%.
I love her
Oh,
spirit.
just
She
fucking
was just
figure it
like,
out.
what, the
Indomitable.
will of the universe, it will happen.
So
Yes.
we're inside doing family shit. The pool's filling up, and then all of a sudden, one of the kids comes running inside. And the pool's sliding down the yard.
It's a water slide.
And the yard has like a dip. And
Yeah,
it has, like,
yeah.
a cliff, right? And so like it was literally about to fall off. So we had to stop it and let the water out. So now the water's like probably 700 gallons of water. Just like
Where do you
flooded
put
the
it? In the yard?
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
let
Oh,
it,
good
let
God.
It,
You know, it kind of just goes away. It's
Yeah.
like the time I spilled a Guinness into an air conditioning unit. It just nothing like came out of the machine. It was just gone.
It just
No
evaporates.
no spill on the grate. Just like I don't know how it happened because it went into the air conditioning
It
unit.
became air conditioning.
Yeah.
That's how science works, right?
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh my god. So yeah. So I mean, so that was all like funny and just like kind of jarring at the time, but what sucked was just like Mon was so legitimately like crushed because her dreams of the pool didn't work. And then like later I come outside and she's sitting with her feet in the little kiddie pool, like Al Bundy back in Mount Every Married with
yes,
Children, but like
yes.
the Al Bundy used to have a kiddie pool. And like just like sitting there all just like sad and depressed. Like, God, we'll get you a pool one day, sweetheart. We'll get you a pool.
Oh,
She called
she's
the-
wired like
Your
Mandy.
landlord's a saint too. He's like, yeah. Go ahead and
Yeah,
pull the
yeah.
bobcat up and start dumping dirt.
Whatever you need to do.
Fucking
And I asked her, I'm
for
like-
your above ground pool.
I'm like, what did you tell him? Like, explain to me what you said. She's like, I told him I wanted to put an above ground pool in and we needed to move some dirt. And I'm like, did you explain more? She's
Some
like, that's
dirt?
all he needed to know. And I'm like, I don't think he realizes the gravity of the situation he just agreed to.
Could you put it out front?
Did you tell him? Did you tell him what a soil engineer would be? Was that you're going to change the grade of the backyard?
Got to move in 10 yards of soil. No big deal.
Don't worry
It'll
about
be
it.
fine.
God, that thing's spilling. You could have your own lake back there
There is
now.
a good chance that we might stop halfway through, leaving you with a
Yeah.
pile of dirt or a bunch of shit. You never know.
There's more than a strong possibility that would have
It's
stopped halfway
so
through and be
good.
Like, something else
fucking
happened.
Oh my God,
Classic.
is your shirt all Topangas?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just saw it.
wow.
Well
Wow,
done.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Different Topangas.
I was more of a Kelly Kapowski
Oh,
guy,
me
but
too.
they didn't have a shirt. So.
I actually saw something random on Instagram the other day with her, Kelly Kapowski.
Do you remember that Kelly Kapowski shirt that came through Red Hook that one time?
I do.
That legendary
The,
Kelly
like,
Kapowski shirt?
Late 90s, mid-90s
I've not
one?
been able to find one
Oh,
since.
that was
I'm on the
great.
look for it still.
That was great. I not to personally just call it my own shirt.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
just
yeah.
scored this
Oh!
Erica Badu shirt here recently.
Did you
Did you go to
that
the
show?
concert?
No. I haven't had a chance to go to anything but work. But I say that disparagingly, but it's been good. It's been good
man.
work. But no, I've actually saw, and I don't think I'll be able to go. But Babyface and SWV are playing.
Would you see
Weird.
that? You see Fuji's are playing Climate Pledge?
Yes. I
Okay,
did.
here's the deal about that.
Expensive ass tickets.
I texted one of my friends about it. So I saw we run the fucking, it was Nas, Wu-Tang, and Lauryn Hill.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was at WAMU a couple years ago.
Okay.
And it was a good show.
I imagine, yeah.
I saw Lauryn Hill at Showbox. Both of them will start like 5 hours late. So it's like,
She's
it
on her
is,
own time kinda
yeah,
shit.
she's on her own time, which is like totally worth it. It's fine. But the Climate Pledge show, I just feel like there's still tickets left, apparently. Like when
Yeah.
I was looking, it seems like an insult to her because I was like, the fact that I could get $80 tickets to a Lauryn Hill concert is crazy, but I don't know if I want to see it. And I
Yeah.
feel like I should want to see it.
I feel like I should want to see it, but I honestly, I mean, when's the last time you guys listen to shit more than I do? But I haven't like fucking popped on the score. I don't own the score.
Oh,
great
I listen to
album.
the score all
Oh,
the
it's
time.
fucking great. Of course,
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
great
even
album,
the
but I don't own it.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Like, well,
Don't own
That's
that one
the-
either.
fair.
Well, that's the
Well,
tour.
they've released 2 fucking albums. She has released 2 things, so that also makes it easy.
Yeah.
So I'm
Quite the Frank Zappa output there, Lauren.
well, I mean, I think she had intentions in releasing more, but then her mental health got
Well,
a
it's
little
also
in
it's
the way.
an unfair example. I remember, I think I've quoted Christopher Cross when he had all his hits. They're like, release another album. He's like, I've been working on this shit for 15 years, and now
Right.
you want me to pump out like another
Yeah.
like set? I mean, you can only ride like the wind once, bro.
She's commented on it where she was like, it was the perfect thing. I wanted to prove that I could do it, and I did it, and I don't feel the need to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it was a lot of it was her choice too, and she's not kowtowing to the demands of the public. She's like, no, I don't fucking want to do another one.
It was interesting because I got an email about that concert and I was like, oh fuck, Fuji's, and I was just like, okay, so that'll be really good, but like I've been to a lot of shows and for me it's more about FOMO to say I went,
Yeah.
and like it's like, okay, so
There's
I
still a
can't-
shit ton of tickets left, and I'm kind of
I
wish-washing back by. I might still go.
but
Yeah.
like,
Because I was texting somebody about it. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go because it's a weekday night and probably it's not going to start till like 10 or blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, well," but I feel like if I don't go, I'm going to be like, "Are you really not going to go to Lauryn Hill and the Fugees? Come on."
Yeah.
Because it's going to start late. Case of the 40s.
which brings up
God.
another
Amen.
thing. We want to. Is Wyclef Jean going to give some of that money back to Haiti, or? Well, you know about that though, right?
No, I
His
don't.
non-prof like totally misappropriated a shitload
Oh,
of
no, I
money,
didn't
and he
hear about
hired a
that.
bunch of his friends.
Oh no.
Damn.
Then he was gone till
When was
November.
that? Was that during the
Yeah.
hurricane or
That was
earthquake
it's
or whatever?
Always Sunny joke. Always Sunny's like gone till November.
What did I just see? The new Mario movie. Charlie Day plays Luigi.
Oh,
It
perfect,
was
Luigi.
great. It was great. Yeah, I was actually very entertained by that movie.
Charlie Day plays Luigi.
Yeah.
That's a pleasant surprise.
Actually, I watched.
Get your
something,
money, Charlie.
It was fantastic. He
yeah,
does a great
he's
job.
fucking hilarious.
But I saw something the other day. Charlie Day apparently popped up at a Portugal the Man concert and sang Day Man. And it was like fucking epic.
That'd be amazing.
Oh my
epic.
God.
I didn't know he had that kind of voice. Like,
Well,
that,
they toured.
that high-pitched voice he has.
Oh yeah.
That
He
was
can sing with
a
that.
Yes,
FOMO
he can.
too. They toured and played like the Paramount. It's Always Sunny did The Nightman Cometh probably about 10
they-
years ago.
What?
Yeah, that was one. I'm like, I don't know why the fuck I
What?
didn't know that. Yeah,
Oh my
they
God.
toured like that performance.
As that
That's
band.
really
or
funny.
Oh my
whatever the
God.
fuck that was. Have you
That
heard
would have
it?
been insane.
Dude, Dayman was such a good song. And I'd forgotten all about it until I saw that Portugal performance. I'm like, good for fucking you, man.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm still on the fence about Wu-Tang, and I'm still on the fence about Fugees.
Where's Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang's at Climate Pledge, too.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about it. You know,
Climate Pledge
concerts.
is a good venue, though. That's
It
a good
is.
venue.
I don't know, man. Big crowds.
That's the other
It
thing.
really. It's not that I'm afraid of big crowds. I just feel big crowds.
Yeah.
And it's really tumultuous for me, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a better way to like understand what that
I
means.
think you just need to go with the right group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because
Like,
when I saw him
my
at,
friends and I, or we could go and we wouldn't be in a shitty part of GA and we'd just be hitting our vape pens the entire
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Every fucking
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah.
that, I could look in a crystal ball. That's how 97% of my shows go.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's just massive groups. I mean,
Oh, it
I
sucks.
even feel like that in like grocery
I
stores.
fucking hate
sometimes.
groups.
Well, it's been exacerbated since COVID.
Didn't help. That shit didn't help.
No, like the last 3 years not being around big groups of people. Now I know what you mean by like you feel it when you go to big crowds. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's something that I've been in, like, I'm trying to like, knowing that that's been something that's affected me now. Because like I'll just find myself in like anxious states. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I know that's not how I started, so why am I there now?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find better ways to like get ready for it, you know, and just like create safety in my own head. And not that I don't feel safe, but just when you can feel, you know, that much from other people, it's hard to discern what's yours and what's
It's a
not.
lot of stimulation
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, admittedly, you've never really been a quote social butterfly.
I was, very much so for a long time. It's just, I think
Predates me. I mean,
that,
last
and
10.
I think
yeah.
that plus combination of working in hospitality for 20 years has really kind of made me just be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
fucking
I've
don't
done
need. I don't
things.
need to go to a fucking busy, crowded restaurant because of the PTSD of like the joyous times we spent together.
Yeah,
in a
no, it's
busy
true.
restaurant, but it's just like anytime it reminds me of that, I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to be here. Like straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get, especially now on my days off, like I don't want to be around anybody or
Ugh.
talk to anybody or be on. And like, I feel like,
Cool.
like
How's
what
the
you,
podcast going?
it's pretty, oh yeah. This is fine. This is fine. But it's like, I do feel like, cause I was the same with you, like in my 20s, I was just like, just partying and doing stuff, and I was, in college, and
We
it
also
didn't.
all medicated a lot more.
Yeah,
too.
that
I
could've
think
been
that
it. Drugs
might
and
be-
alcohol,
I mean,
it
I
was-
still smoke weed, but still.
Yeah,
like,
it was a drug fueled for sure,
Yeah.
social energy that I got. But now, but I feel like there was a certain amount in me, and then I spent it all in my 20s, and now I don't have any left.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's how it feels.
as someone who doesn't like get quote fucked up anymore, it's like I sit there and I think, I still get FOMO at 39 about like, oh fuck, I'm not going out doing this, and
Yeah.
that seems like fun, but it's just like I have to keep reminding myself, like, I so did that. Like, if I just want to
Yeah.
if I want to pick 32, 33, like, that's enough for most people's lifetimes.
Yeah.
And this isn't me bragging, but it's just like, dude, you did.
Yeah.
like,
No regrets. Yeah.
no regrets.
Yeah.
Well, I think that leads perfectly into our topic today: expectations, limits, and perceptions. Because, like, I find that a lot now too. That I have these expectations of myself that I don't really even understand why they're there.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at them now, like I'll sit in a meditation when I have one of these expectations kind of pop up, and I'll try to draw it back, and I understand like it comes from like a younger version of me that did think that like, hey, you got to go out and do the thing, or this is what this time of your life is supposed to be, or whatever that is, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
But and it's when you really think and you ask yourself those questions, is like, why am I? And I mean, I can draw this back to when I got out of restaurants. It's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What am I working for? Am I working for me, or am I working for this company? Am
Yeah.
I working for my family? And we have to. And I started to release the expectation that I put on myself that I need to have, you know, a salaried job that gives me benefits, that's corporate, that's insurance, that supports my family, that all this
401k
stuff.
and planning for the future. And
it's like, why is this box right here full of these expectations that don't even make any sense to me? You know,
I do feel like a lot of it comes out
That
from
shit in me, that shit all makes sense to me, like salary, 401k, and health insurance and stuff.
I think that's also a generational thing because at least my parents, like my mom, every fucking conversation I have with her, it's like, oh, we got this really good deal with this 401k. You really got to make sure you can get this done because you don't want to be like me and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like it was driven in like millennial and Gen X. Like there was only one way to be successful. And if you didn't follow that path, the other paths are going to be really hard. And I feel like this generation now will quit a job. They will change jobs. They don't give a fuck about retirement because they're like, there may or may not be a future for me. Who knows?
Well,
like,
I think
so
the
there isn't that pressure. I don't know.
The messaging about the trades has changed dramatically, though, where you can do that, you know?
Yeah.
Again, not a regrets thing, but it's just like I probably would have fucking become an electrician. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Like just straight up,
Yeah.
mid-20s, instead of just fucking kissing ass and getting good at hospitality. I probably would have spent, 10 months in a fucking class, take some tests on some wires, and then follow some probably wise man or woman around for fucking 6 months, a year, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Could have been running your own electrician company.
right.
Fuck yeah, but, whatever.
Well,
But, I mean, this is exactly where, we can always think about the what ifs.
Yeah.
You know, but this is, everything that we're doing is exactly what needed to be done, right, to get you where you're at now.
Yeah.
And so, like, as much as I might talk shit about the restaurant industry, and, I do understand, like, it served a big purpose for me. It
brought you to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things that come out of that. But
BroTime.
it was also one of those things that that had to happen. I had to understand what dedicating myself to a job rather than my life meant to me, because just like you said, it does make sense to have a 401k and health insurance and all this stuff, but having all that, even though it made sense, it made me miserable.
Yeah.
Like the vehicle to get me that was making me miserable.
Yeah.
And so to change my life, I had to release the expectation of my job being the one that provides me with that type of security. And I had to look at myself and say, does that even provide me with security in general? Right? Are there better ways that I could figure out to do this where I could have that safety that I think I need, but without having it presented to me in this soul-sucking fucking box that I had to show up for all the time.
What was your vibe when you left working with us and shit, and then you waited tables for a little bit? How was that?
I did, yeah. It was good.
Stepping back from like all that shit you did is like fucking our boss and shit. That was way less moving parts. Just be like, hi,
Just
blah, blah,
clocking
blah,
in,
blah,
clocking
blah,
out.
blah.
Yeah.
It was very humbling, which was great. And I kind of liken it to driving the Kia for the past 2 years. Like I think for myself, like I don't go around dripping ego. Like I wouldn't think that you guys would think I'm egocentric, but I still have,
No, I'm just kidding.
I still have like things that are wrapped up in the ego that I've built throughout the life, and I have to take a look at what those things are. And one of those things for me at that time was I was the boss for 20 years, right? I was a boss, right? Not like, oh, I'm a fucking boss, but I was the guy that people answered to.
Yeah.
And by no means did I take that for granted, but to really understand who I am and why I chose to leave the industry I was in and do something different, I had to like have an ego check for myself. And part of that was saying, hey, guess what? I don't have a job right now. I need money. I know how to wait tables. I have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go wait tables.
Yeah.
And swallow that pride a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
But it's also tough with that experience to sit there and turn that portion of your brain off and just be like, oh my fucking God.
Yep, it was. It was. But it was a good practice for that. But there's, like I said, for me, like I think for me, like I constantly have to put myself in check just to make sure.
Yeah.
And I think, hopefully I'll get past that one day because again, those are those stories and those expectations and that perception that I put on life. And maybe one day, instead of having to, check my ego, per se, I can just really understand that I can release that perception. Yeah. Right. Instead of having to put myself through a process to do that.
Yeah. Well, what you said earlier was really interesting, like how you were saying something like you have these expectations or perceptions and you can't tell if it's your younger self doing it.
Right.
Like that I was like, whoa, that's exactly how I feel, I think, sometimes, where it's this other part of me that isn't like that is a driving force behind decisions I make, but it's not one that how do I say this? Like I don't feel like that person, but that person inside of me is making decisions for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like you're not consciously referencing that person, but
Yeah,
that person is,
it's not who I feel like I am, and it's like this inner boss person inside myself that was like, this is what you need to be doing, or this is how you that you need to go to this thing, or if
I mean, I kind of in my mind, I couldn't even probably really put down what I'd built up where I'd be now at 39 if I was 9 years old trying to type this shit up. Right. But it's. You know, that being said, I also was convinced we'd have hoverboards and flying cars. So, like, fucking, let's take a lot off.
And above ground pools, my God.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading on Reddit about pools. Actually, the best pool is your neighbor's pool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, fucking, there we go.
Aaron everyone's and like, are putting in a pool right now.
Everyone's like, well, that's a little different because they're in fucking. You know,
or still, that's not my pool.
Yeah. No, dude, hell no. Might actually take them up on that offer to come visit. Dude, they don't even remember that shit like 3 years ago. Yeah, come on, Dylan. I'm like, I'll be right there.
They are the best hosts ever. They have little bowls of candy, like little
you
fun
did tell
size,
me that.
all over the house.
Yes.
Like, they don't even have kids. It's
no,
like,
that's the shit.
You guys are great.
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah, pets. Now they got a pool, little games all around the house. It's great. It's fun times. They're great hosts.
They're doing it. They're doing life.
It's fun stuff.
Fantastic.
But yeah, the expectations. There's actually a Macklemore line that I really love. I can't remember which song it's from, but it's one of his earlier songs. But it's expectations are resentments waiting to happen.
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
We put, not only on maybe somebody else, but we put these expectations on ourselves. And, like, even, like, goal setting, right?
Yeah.
Right? We can fuck ourselves up in goal setting and be like, you know what? Let's say, like, when I was losing weight, I was like, I'm going to lose 20 pounds this week. That's physically impossible unless you, like, literally starve yourself and smoke a bunch of crack.
I was going
to you can do it, but, like, not in a healthy way,
yeah.
right? But then at the end of that week, I was like, oh, I lost 4 pounds. Oh, no, I suck. I'm horrible, right?
Right.
And so we put these unrealistic expectations on ourselves or others that we know that can't be met. And then just, like, we're almost like it's like we're waiting to pounce on the opportunity to, like, beat ourselves up or hold somebody else accountable for something.
When I was younger, there was some fucking acronym of, like, SMART goals, like achievable was one of them,
Yeah.
Realistic. Yeah, thank you. I know there's a couple there. Yeah,
I used to use that acronym. I can't remember it
really
now,
well there. I got one of them. You got one of them.
That's fine. We did
I remember it was R.
Yeah.
Big R goals. A-R.
There was another one that was called what were they called? Big, hairy, audacious goals, BHAGs. And that was a term Diamond Knot used. And they were just like, BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. And I was like, I can't believe HR is allowing you to use that. But again, it's like you make these like, I'm gonna put 15% profit to my P&L bottom line this year, even though last year we've had 5.
Yeah.
And this restaurant's 40 years old.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're like, drive it, man. If you don't push it, then you'll never get there. I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to do?
Yeah.
You're making me fail. Luckily, I didn't have a bonus at that place,
right.
or my bonus would be based off of the fucked up goal that I would have to set that they would never.
And it's all on your shoulders if we don't make it. Yeah. Well, and also with like self-sabotage stuff, like expecting something to not work out, like that, I do that constantly. So when it doesn't, or if I do fall short, then it's like, I was right. So it is a form of like controlling the situation and being a future seer of like, well, I was right about that. At least I might not have been able to get the goal, but at least I was right about it not working out or not panning out.
I've told you about my fucking relationship with picking lines.
Yeah.
How I fucking pick the wrong line. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's like, I fucking, I'm like, well, that's the one I want, so I'm not going to pick that, so we'll do that, but that's the wrong one, so we'll go back to the original choice, because that's it. But no, wait, that's what you do last time. Then it's the wrong fucking line.
That
it's like,
is
well,
a
here we
metaphor
are.
for my life,
I watch
bro.
like 3 assholes join other lines, get out, and they're like, hey, take care, fucking say hi to the kids.
7 years later, you're still fucking waiting in line.
I'm in the wrong one.
Like, fucking Agnes, come on.
Yeah.
Just trying to buy some tots.
There's a Brene Brown talk I listened to not too long ago, and she was talking about how we can't sit with our emotions, and even the good emotions like joy. because with joy, we're so afraid to lean into joy because we're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yes.
And just like you said,
Yes.
like we can't really fully appreciate the moment that we're in because we're waiting for the bad thing to happen.
Yeah.
But like life is going to continuously bounce back and forth. It's just we recognize the bad more because it hurts, right? And it kind of lingers more, and that's what we're trying to think about. And I mean, think about from when we were kids, we're taught stranger danger and all this shit, dare, right? You know, look out for shit, you know. And it's like we've kind of been bred into this like kind of
if it's
social
too good, it's
mentality
too
of it.
good to be true. It's like it's so much like that. I know that clip that you're talking about, Brene Brown. I've watched that one before of like how joy is so hard for adults because like it feels like I don't want to expect good things because I don't want to be. I'd rather be prepared to be let down than have it blindside me.
Right.
So if I expect it to not work out and don't put my whole being into it, then I can be like, hey, I've controlled the situation a little bit because I saw it coming, rather than being delusional and getting excited and getting my hopes up and then it also still not working out. Like that hurts more. So I'd rather just be negative about it.
That's why I have to air quote my foray into Match.com and shit. Because I didn't half-ass it. I half-assed it specifically. Be like, well, I didn't really try.
If I don't put my whole heart into it,
I did try, but I didn't really try.
Right.
It's like, well, what the fuck, you know? At the end of the day, I wasted, you know, probably $40 in 2 months.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, the same
2
thing with
solid months. It's the only thing I did.
It'd been 2 months of hardcore dating right there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
just
Tinder style.
Well, same thing with like
learning card tricks. Hey, that nickel's behind your ear.
What
Please
is
tell
this?
me that's how you won Tiffany
silver
over.
dollar?
That's how I did it, yeah. So if I get like a silver dollar. Whoa!
That's been here this whole time.
So I'll see you Tuesday?
So fucking good.
Fucking hell. But I mean, honestly, I mean, like what y'all are talking about, this is one of the reasons I love hanging out with little kids because like there's just pure joy.
Yeah.
Right? And even if like something sideways happens, you know, like there's a meltdown, whatever, typically unless there's like, you know, something bad happens. It's like you just shake it off, a couple minutes, you're back doing things. You're playing with Barbies, you're throwing the balls, you're doing all this shit, right? And I just love that joy, but I also love giving kids back, right? My kids are old enough to where like they're almost to the point of having kids their own.
Yeah.
But like I love that kid energy because it kind of lets you be that again and like release some of that, like maybe that expectation of like, oh, I got to hold this stature. I've got to be an adult. I'm the one in charge. It's like, no, I'm rolling around with this child right now.
Well,
We're,
that's why like your 20s and your
coloring
teens
shit.
are for stupid shit because you don't have that fear that I have now in my 30s thinking about like, oh, I heard about the story of this one person falling off this, you know, scooter and then getting a concussion. They can't walk it. Like you don't have that when you're 16.
Liam Neeson's wife? I mean, you're not going to snow ski?
Oh, well, just like you start hearing horror stories about other people's experiences, the older you get and the more experience that you have. But like when I was 16, you throw caution in the wind because you're just like, you don't think about that kind of stuff either because your brain's not fully developed or you just don't have a lifetime of fear built up. So that's why like that kid energy is like, they're fearless. Yeah. They don't care. Yeah. We're like, they're not thinking about worst case scenarios yet. They're just doing the thing in the moment.
Exactly. They're in the moment.
Yeah.
One of the therapists I listen to says the most well-adjusted child or well-adjusted human being is a child because you'll always understand their emotions.
Yeah.
They're happy, they're sad. They're going to let you know. There's no hiding that shit, right? Unless it's been trained into them.
Yeah.
And so like just absorbing that and, you know, looking at like some of like the person like the Dalai Lama or some of the Rinpoches, these people that have found some kind of like, you know, whatever you want to call it, consciousness or something, but they have this like childlike revere about them, you know, and it's like when you see something, it's like they're seeing it for the first time. It's like that old Japanese idea of Zen mind, beginner's mind. Yeah. Right. Seeing everything for the first time. Like even though I've used a cell phone now for probably 10 years, it's like I pull it out of my pocket and be like, oh my gosh, look at this thing. It just fucking lights up. It's like the world's in my hand now.
If you had handed this phone to someone in the 70s, this would have been, you know what I was watching the other night? I was watching The Gilded Age, which is a show on HBO, and it was set in the Gilded Age in New York. And there was an episode where they all went to the town.
That's what my parents watched.
Oh, it's a fucking great show. They took every Broadway star and they just put them on HBO. It's incredible. But they had an episode where they went to Times Square because Edison was going to turn on electricity in the New York Times building for the first time ever. Wow. And I was like, there is no equivalent that could happen now in this lifetime where every status, every walk of life, every creed, race, religion was there equally excited to see this thing that did not exist on Earth, to see these lights turn on. And like we have the James Webb Telescope, we've seen things in space we've never seen. There are people that could care less about that. We've landed on Mars. We've got these new cool cell phones, and
birds aren't real.
Yeah, right, but like there's been so much that's happened in our lifetime that we're all kind of desensitized to these wonders that happen around us all the time. And I don't think we will ever be in a place as a society again, even with like aliens are real. Like the government has come out and been like, we're holding a fucking conference about it. And people are just like, yeah, okay, well, I can't, buy milk, which I get that, but like there's to have this status of these people in Gilded Age that were like these, John Jacob Astors going to share space with these, street urchins, and all of them were sitting in wonder at this thing.
John Jacob Astor is in that show?
Yes, it's like
that's the fucking school from Kindergarten Cop in Astoria, Oregon.
John Jacob Astor? Is it really?
Oh,
nice. Nice pull. No, like the Astors are in it.
It's a big fucking deal. I mean, obviously, names. Well,
the Rockefeller. It's like the Rockefellers, the Astors, all of the biggest, richest people in the country. Like, and it hit me that like, oh, we might not ever find that joy collectively again because too much stuff has happened, and that made me sad.
I mean, yeah. What do you think that is? I mean, is it like we've just seen so much? Is
so
it
many
like
more?
Like we have so much like in our hands now?
Yeah.
Is it like programmed? Like, is it meant to be this way?
I think it's also like a lot of the really, the shit I like seeing those videos of the jetpack guys, flying around. I'm like, well, that seems pretty cool, and I'm like.
But not hoverboards.
Yeah, like, but it's also like my context there is I'm like, well, I always see these at like a fucking military trade. It's like never anything that I would get like super excited about is never for like any of us.
Yeah. Right. Well, and there are
Elon Musk and shit can get excited about that shit because he can go try one out.
Right.
But like.
And also, I think there's a sense of like, well, how real is it? Oh, we're expecting it to be a fake moon landing, or we're expecting it to be this thing that's going to fail, or it's we can't believe in aliens because there's too many, fake news, and so it's like we don't want to be gullible either, I guess. Yeah. So we don't want to get our hopes up, but like. There's so many fucking insane things we've done over the past 50 years that I feel like our generation is just like, meh. There's certain pockets of people, like people that are super into space are going to be excited about space, or people that are super into technology are going to be in it. But like collectively, you're not going to have this one thing where all of those people are going to sit at one night. I mean, maybe the eclipse was the last thing.
What will be that next thing?
Yeah.
If we're so desensitized, like what's going to be that thing to where humanity's like, oh shit, like. That was a big thing.
And Mandy even said, she's like, I think the only thing that we all can stand in now in awe is disasters. That's the only thing that could bring, and that made me even sadder, where it was like the only thing that could bring awe to all status of people at the same time would be some kind of like mass disaster, like a 9/11 or but even with the Maui fires, like people are just like, well, we're just going about our daily lives now, even on the same fucking island. Yeah. It's just crazy. But I did feel a little bit of that with the eclipse that happened a couple years ago, where everybody was just all walks of life. Yeah. So maybe something like that. I don't know.
Didn't take a moment for that, did you?
See? Why?
Because I didn't have glasses and I think I was working.
You could have
yeah. Like, I mean, it's just like, I think it was very practical reasons. Like, okay. And there was all these, like, scam glasses they were
there
out.
You go,
shit. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna fucking make myself Ray Charles for this shit.
Yeah, Trump risked it.
Just stare at it. We were in the Ballard Locks when it happened. It was great. We were coming back on Monica's fishing boat. They had to repark it for something, so they invited us out on the boat. So we went out there. I was wearing a welder's mask.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was great.
That's perfect.
It was fantastic. There were so many boats out there. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah, and just having that collective experience where we're all sharing this thing at the same time and also all being excited at the same time.
Yeah. There's a question or a statement that...
Did that meet your guys' expectations?
I thought it was the event itself was cool. I thought it was cooler that everyone cared. I think it was the energy behind the community of it that like everything seemed to shut down and like everyone was out in the street. You had all your neighbors, like places closed for work. They went, and, like I thought that was cooler than the actual eclipse part of it.
Well, I think too, if like. I think it was in our area, Oregon would have been where you saw the perfect eclipse or something.
Yeah, that was where a lot of people are driving.
Yeah,
and
I think
shit,
maybe if I was down there and felt like that specialness of seeing like the complete lunar eclipse.
That like fucking Burning Man scenario of all those people driving out to the middle of nowhere, just like, I've been in traffic for like a day and a half. I'm like, that seems like that's worth it.
Yeah,
nothing better to do.
It's gonna be dark, but not. Yeah.
But but just being on the boat, having that special experience with Monica, her crew, everybody else on their boats, like that was pretty cool. Wearing a welding mask was kind of cool too.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
But just
did you do the?
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Every time I pull it on.
You gotta make sure you can flip that shit on and fire up that arc welder.
Yeah, well, San's firing up the arc welder, but I did flip the mast down. That's why you put a mask on.
Absolutely would be the best part of wearing a welder's mask.
Did you click the tongs?
Yeah,
of course I clicked the tongs.
Well, he had goggles and the mask, and he gave me the first option, and I'm like,
mask.
Not the mask. He gave the goggles to Mon. I'm like, you take those.
This is my time.
So I can flip it down.
Oh, the fucking rivet head goggles?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But so there's a statement that I've been trying to work with myself on lately, or catch myself when I say it, but it's I'm not that kind of person, right? And it's like dancing, for example, like I just don't dance. I'm just not a dancer, In statements like that, like I've been trying to catch myself and like ask myself why I'm saying that to myself, like an expectation, or this perception
or a limitation.
That
I can't dance. I'm not good at it. It doesn't feel
Right, I don't wear my hair in a ponytail.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm definitely not that guy.
Yeah,
and I've thought about that a lot. I'm not a ponytail guy. I'm a bun guy.
Yeah,
if I samurai, I'll maybe have a ponytail for the samurai.
I think you should give a high pony. A high pony.
A little offset.
A little offset high pony. Single offset high pony. Yeah, was it Deb on fucking Napoleon Dynamite?
But yeah, I mean that statement. I mean, like I find myself now that I can't remember who I was listening to or what I read and that turned me onto that. But now that that's there, like I say that a lot to myself. It's kind of fucking crazy. And some of those things I'm really easy about. Like, nope, yeah, got it, understand that. But there's other things. It's like, why don't I wear pink socks?
Well, and there's also a fine line between am I limiting myself out of fear or expectation of maybe what someone might think, or am I actually or is it okay to just relax into this person that I actually am? So like things that make me feel comfortable.
Right.
Is it because it makes I don't want to do it and that's okay, or is it because what's the driving factor behind me making that choice? Is it an outside thing or is it an inside thing? And can I be a person just going back to the earlier conversation of not feeling very social and feeling like, well, I should be social. I should do this.
Right.
And is that coming from a place of my gut telling me I need to push myself, or am I staying home because I'm scared of something might happening? Or is it okay to just not be a social person and sit in that aspect and trying to decide where that motivation's coming from? That happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Why am I making this choice?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of that external kind of push when that happens because people are expected to be social and go out and do the things. And it's like, well, sometimes no. Just no because of no.
I mean, is it quote an expectation? I mean, I think, and I just read this on the Holy Grail that is Reddit, so fucking take that with whatever. But it's just like, especially in your 30s and 40s, you should be taking time to nurture and foster the relationships you have, because the likelihood of being able to fucking forge new ones is difficult without and I wholeheartedly believe in that. Yeah. Like if we're talking new friends, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
You know, like when I've made a quote new friend,
or putting value in the socializing that does make me feel comfortable. So doing something can this be as valuable as going out to the big 1,000 people concert, like, and not like having that be equally valid, or having a small get together, or having a dinner with just one person rather than 30
Right.
people. Like, can both of those things be valid and not? Yeah, I don't know.
So it's funny, is like when you say like going to a concert and shit, I'm like, yeah, concerts. Then I'm just like, oh fuck, I don't like going in groups though. Going in a group,
I
to the
love
group.
going by myself to concerts.
Oh, I haven't done. I have done that. I've done that a couple times. But like,
if it's a big space, I'd rather go by myself.
but like keep it if you keep it small, that somehow makes it easier. But
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to wrangle a bunch of people. Well, shit, we went to a baseball game recently, and with like 8 people, and it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like
But
herding
then
cats.
The only
there's
time we did
times
it was
where
the
we do
90s shows.
the
Yeah.
90s show, and
That
it
was
came
fantastic.
together.
But that was a party bus, and we threw like $1,000 at that
Yes.
problem. Like that's
But
how
it
you do
felt
Fantastic.
easy. You know what I mean?
But,
Like,
yeah, very
so
easy.
it really does depend on, I don't know who you're doing it with. But like, even with, because I really don't give a shit about what I wear anymore. And I for my whole life was trained to really give a shit,
Right.
especially being a woman.
Right.
Like, you're kind of like, I was trying to think, because I don't want to be like limiting to other, people who might be non-binary that also feel this way. But like, there is this stigma of you need to take care of yourself. And I'm like, I'm not taking care of myself. It's just I've never cared about this thing. I don't care about what I wear. I just want to be comfortable. I've felt that way my whole life. And every time that I've stepped outside of that, I feel uncomfortable in my body. So like, what's better?
like wearing a suit?
Or just,
Yeah.
buying like an outfit to go out. Like, I'm thinking about I am going to the Beyonce concert, and everyone is going dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I should dress up. I should do that. And I was like, no, I want to be fucking comfortable.
No.
I'm going to wear
Buy
jeans
like
and
the
a t-shirt.
Beyonce version of the Selena shirt, and you're good.
Right, yeah, exactly. But like, there are those moments in my brain of like, well, you should care more. It is a special night out. Like, you should buy this outfit. And I was like, I'd rather spend money on something else. Or I'm going to be standing for 3 hours. I'm going to
Yeah.
wear tennis shoes, and I'm going to wear yoga pants probably. I want to be able to dance. And so there are these moments of where is my motivation coming from? Am I just leaning into my manic depressive laziness of not taking care of myself? Or is it something that I really don't care about, and I shouldn't be pressured into being somebody I'm not?
Yeah.
I have
Which-
a shitload of clothes I don't wear. which is
Exactly.
what
And
a lot of
every
people
time
will
I
tell
buy
you.
nice stuff, it sits in the fucking
Yeah.
closet because I never
Totally.
want to wear
I mean,
it.
I realized probably at about 30. I mean, a lot of shit happened at 30, but like I realized that I pretty much dress the same way I dressed in high school. It's
Yeah.
just slightly more refined. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with that. I'm not like wearing fucking slacks and shit now.
But it is easier for dudes to do that. Like,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
It
that's
seems
fucked.
like a choice.
That's totally
and so,
fucked.
like, if you and I go out to dinner or something, and we're wearing the same thing, I would be perceived as a slob more than a dude would.
Totally
Right.
fucked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is that
Straight
out
up.
expectation of society of like, oh, she really doesn't take
Well,
care of herself.
well, so-
Don't wear
so-
makeup. Don't do this.
Well, no,
don't.
see, for me, I can kind of, the only time in which I will, quote, make that kind of assessment, and, because I'm still in the industry, I see this shit,
Yeah.
is when it's clear they're not bathing.
Yeah.
And that's different. Like,
Right.
I don't really fucking care about clothes too much, provided they're, quote, clean. And see, that's another thing. Like,
Right.
but we're not talking about, like, the quality of the clothes.
But there's so many kids in Capitol Hill that they are like chic trash wear. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no shit.
Like,
I
and
see,
so
I-
it's
we-
like
we-
there's
I
this
don't- I
fine
don't-
line of like, I know you spent a shit ton of money to look like how I just rolled out of bed, but you look cool, and I feel like I look like a bum. Like, so it's very frustrating.
Yeah. No, I can imagine that.
Well, yeah, when you have those celebrities that are like 9s and 10s posting like no makeup selfies
Mm-hmm.
at bed, I'm like, first of all, don't believe that you just fucking snapped that, but just like, yeah, that's gonna be a tall fucking order.
Yeah. Well, and it
I
was
don't
really
look like
hard
Jason
for me.
Momoa on the beach. Hashtag shocker.
It was a really big moment for me when I really stopped wearing makeup. Like, I never wore it in the first place, but
Yeah.
when I worked at Red Hook, I'd throw on some foundation, I'd throw on mascara because I'm going to work and I need to look like whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I would buy this makeup and it would sit in my drawer, and I would never wear it unless I was going out to, dinner or to work. And I was like, if guys don't have to wear makeup to be presentable, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stop buying makeup
Well, no,
and
and
stop
then you gotta
wearing
like
makeup.
take all that shit off your face too.
And it makes me break out, and I
All
have
that
to find
shit.
and depending on how long I've been in the sun, the tone of my foundation's gonna change. So I got to buy a new one that's $40,
Jesus
and then
Christ.
Like,
the
all this
mascara
shit we
turns
don't even
old. You got to
fucking
buy
think
that
of.
every 2 weeks. Like, and it's like I don't even care about it. I don't like doing it. There are some people that love doing makeup and it
Right.
brings them joy, and so I'm not like anti makeup. I've just never found joy doing it. So why am I continuing to do this?
Yeah. Right.
Because there is this expectation that I've put on myself. And I've stopped wearing it, and I haven't looked back. But it was a really big moment for me when I started doing it because I was very self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't wear much to begin with, it was just like I felt like lazy.
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is. I mean, we're within that generation where there's a lot of change happening, and there's a lot of like change by proxy,
Yeah.
right? And so with more, non-binary, more transgender. People looking as men but wearing makeup, whereas people looking as women but choosing not to wear makeup,
Right.
and both being kind of ostracized in their own right, just like you
Right.
explained. But it's that awkwardness as these things start to dissolve, right? These expectations start to go away, and we stop expecting people that look to the whatever we consider a woman to be, to expect them to wear makeup and then be also maybe aghast at what we would expect a man to look like to be
Right.
wearing makeup.
Yeah.
We just get to the point of where it's just people are just walking by each
Yeah,
other.
they're blurring the lines. Yeah.
So maybe I don't know how
Same
long
attitude
that'll
if
take,
I
but-
see a guy who doesn't fucking bathe.
Yeah.
Wears dirty shit.
Just
Well,
just
I've
bathing
been
in
thinking
general
about what I
is
said. I'm like,
important.
no, man, please shower before you go to a fucking restaurant.
Well, yeah, and then there's also like people that do bathe but don't. They do it all natural, so they don't wear deodorant or they
And
don't do this, and
that's
so
a
it's a
tough
choice
thing.
thing. So it's like it's
in my
it's a blurring
in my
the line.
community that's
Absolutely.
very heavy.
Absolutely.
and
So it's not that
there's-
they're not bathing. It's just like, hey, I'm all natural. I don't want to
It's
put
tough because
chemicals.
some
and-
people are just naturally got a little more dank to their stank.
Yep.
for sure.
Totally.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, those are. I wouldn't say they're hard conversations to navigate because like, I don't have to control them anymore.
Yeah.
Like whereas in the past, like I'd have to have a conversation with
At
somebody.
Red
and
Hook,
be
I had
like,
to do it every summer. Had
Totally,
to,
right?
Yeah.
You
like,
know,
hey man, do you wear deodorant? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably should give it a couple more passes. That was my preferred one. I mean, I wasn't that nonchalant, but I just like probably should do a few more.
Yeah. I had a guy tell me
Yeah.
one time, one of the first conversations I had to have about hygiene. One of the bouncers at one of the restaurants I worked at, I had a conversation like, "Hey man, you smell a little bad.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we get those showers in there,
Such a
man."
you gotta make sure you get
I
no
was
shower.
like 24 at the time, right? It was
just
like
my
really
whole body
awkward. And
cringed having that conversation.
Yeah, my boss Jeff is like, he made me do it because he wanted me to have that experience, and I'm like, fuck you, man. And so it was a very awkward conversation because this gentleman I had the conversation with was like probably in his 40s.
Yeah.
And so, but we were close. We came up together. I just went into management and he didn't. But so I was having this conversation and he's like, "Yeah, man, I just moved." I'm like, "Yeah, I understand that, man." He's like, "Yeah, and I haven't got a shower curtain yet." Like, but you can
But you got water though, right?
you can still like angle that bitch in, right?
I know, man. Like, fuck, man. Like, god damn it. Like, I
There's
mean,
ways
it's
around
like,
this shit,
it's
man.
like the hobo shower. You can go into the fucking sink and do the top half.
Washcloth,
Fuck
washcloth.
off, man.
So I just don't want to have
angle-
these conversations.
You can
man.
angle that bitch, right? Maybe, or you can fucking take a weird bath.
Yeah.
So, oh, this is fucking hilarious. Speaking of terrible showers, so, oh, this is fucking hilarious. When I went to New Orleans the second time with my friends, we were going to see Seahawks play the Saints on Halloween, like
Okay.
around that time. It was like perfect timing. Ended up going to Voodoo Fest. But because it was all that shit was going on, very hard to get a place to stay. So we four dudes? 5 of us shared a fucking 1-bedroom, air quotes, shotgun shack. Like
Yeah.
fucking
Ooh, yeah.
so like a sofa and a bed and then like a bathroom. So the bathroom was a
Damn.
clawfoot tub. No big deal, whatever. The shower, this is fucked up. I've never seen this before. I'll see if I don't have my phone on me. I've never seen this before, and it was literally a faucet with a shower like handle
Okay.
that was like maybe 1.5 feet long. So you couldn't actually like you could draw a bath and make a bath if you
But
plugged
you'd have
the
to like
drain.
squat underneath it.
Yeah, but like you would literally have to get on your fucking knees on like a iron clawfoot tub and hold this thing like right by, like literally shorter than this fucking
This is how
mic
people
boom.
live.
Shorter than this mic boom.
Why are we not in awe every time we step in the fucking shower? This is how humans lived for centuries.
So fucking hilarious. So this is the funniest shit. Like we were just like, oh my god, like the first guy to take a shower was like, what the fuck? And then like literally for 3 days we're all laughing about
Just
this.
lapping up the water.
Yeah, dude, it was terrible. It was so bad. So we're all booking a trip to go do another guy's trip in November, and we're all talking about Airbnbs, and I'm just like, well, make sure we got a better shower this time or whatever. I Google
Or at least
image,
a garden hose.
I Google image shitty shower handle or shitty shower handle faucet, and that, nothing feces related, to come up with like a photo of roughly the same thing. I'm like, yeah, some other guy's like,
that's
yeah,
it.
The worst thing ever. Yeah. You have to kneel by the fucking faucet.
That's not a shower, that's a bath.
Dude, I don't know why you would even have the attachment there.
Right.
See, that's the thing, is like, I would have just made a fucking bath if you don't have the handle. You know
I would just attach a garden hose to it at that point. Just like, at least I can stand up and like reach around.
It had like a sprayer and all. It was so
my
bad.
god. See, modern marvels.
Fucking love that.
The
So
shower.
funny. So fucking funny.
Jesus.
Speaking of angling it.
Angle that bitch in.
You can't angle that towards the fucking tile. Oh, I don't have a shower curtain. What's
Like that was an expectation. Like I
Yeah.
expect you not to smell, please. Just so I don't have to have the conversations. I mean, I've gotten better at them. Well, I haven't had to have a conversation like that in a long time. Like any kind of I shouldn't say coaching, but like expation conversation like that. Like I just don't. I'm not a boss anymore.
I
I was
imagine
gonna say,
being
I'm like,
on
you're
the
not
other-
managing a fucking
No.
half dozen managers that manage 75
totally.
people.
My entire life is living on the other end of one of those conversations. So not being the one that has to have those conversations, but like preparing for someone to come up to me to have one of
Right,
those
yeah.
conversations.
Oh, dude! Anytime my boss is like, I need to talk to you, and I think
Immediate cold rush through my body.
so
Hey, do you have a minute? Yes.
So I think
Oh, God,
I think
what?
that personality test, and that was one of the mistakes that I never had my meeting with the dude about that. But they actually touched on that personality thing in one of in some of the questions. Was like, if your boss or an authority figure, asked to come speak to you, do you immediately, and it had one of the emotions like feel like you did something wrong and shit. I'm like, oh, that's fucking
Yeah.
But it was just like, that's a crazy, and it's always just shit like, so can you fill out your address again? Because I lost your fucking slip. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, yes. I fucked up a check so bad last night. It took them till, I fucked it up at probably, opening noon, 1 o'clock. It took them till 10 p.m. to figure it out.
Oh.
And the entire time I was like, this is the last day I'm going to work here. They're going to fire me. They're going to fire me. And it was just a stupid accident. Like, I charged the wrong table for the wrong
but you got to
bill.
move the card over.
But they were using Yelp loyalty points or something, so they couldn't void it out. So it was just the worst table to have done that to, and they had left already. But anytime I fuck up, I'm just preparing. I was on break and coming back from break, I'm prepared for him to pull me aside and
have
just
your
be like,
backup
"Hey,
shoes in your hand."
yes, I am expecting shit to go sour at any moment. The other shoe is gonna drop at any moment. This job is too good. I am it is too close to my house. I am making too much money. Something bad is going to happen.
So the job's going well.
Yeah, no, I
Except for
do
you
enjoy it.
fucking up
Except
table
I fuck
12s.
up left and right. Anytime I break a glass, I'm like, oh, this is the last
That's
last
it.
day.
That's
Oh my god! And last night, I literally handed my manager my card, and I was like, just let me pay for it. I was like, it was my fuck up. I deserve to, he's like, it's $160. And I was like, so if it doesn't get resolved.
Yeah. He's like, it's $160.
Yeah.
It's like, with my discounted
Can you employee discount it and then I'll pay
I'm
for it?
fucking paying for that.
But
that
I wanted,
that was my grandfather.
I deserved punishment. I didn't deserve to just get off scot-free with just being an accident. I deserved some kind of actual punitive punishment.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually have to pay for anything.
Yeah,
I don't
was about
know.
to say. So, being that former person that had to deal with a lot of that shit, unless you work for a tyrant,
Yeah.
If you work for any kind of reasonable person, it's always okay.
Yeah.
Like as upset and annoyed as it might be, because you just have to like, shit, now I have to deal with this, and it's like that might be annoying for the person. Whatever, you're not going to get fired for it. You know, it's not one of those things.
I'm not intentionally stealing money, or you know what
Which
I mean.
is
Like
a different
it's not
thing,
right.
and then we're probably gonna fire you for something that's not that. It's not gonna be like you fucked up table 12. It'll be like, yeah, you were 6 minutes late.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that like I really tried to. I mean, Jeff, my boss, used to do that with me. You know, it's like he would just bring people over, like, hey, we have an issue. Okay, this is all good. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, just quash all that shit so we can just like
figure out the issue.
that out. Take
you
your
don't want
emotions
Sav
away,
Hags
you
or
know?
whatever it is.
Yeah. What
was
it? B-Hags.
B-Hags.
Big, hairy, audacious goals. No, Jeff, he's the most reasonable dude. Like his restaurant when he first opened the Hops and Drops concepts, new restaurants, you have all these crazy growth goals, and you want to grow 10% over year. I mean, I was in a restaurant this is when I was at Red Hook. Yeah. And even though that restaurant was 25 years old at the time, 15, 20 years old, something like that. They still wanted to aggressively have like almost 12% growth every year in the restaurant. And I'm like, that's just dumb.
Can't,
well, it's not impossible.
And I was talking,
especially when you're renting this fucking place.
Oh, totally,
like,
right?
give me a break.
And so I was talking to Jeff about it at one point in time during one of the P&L or the budgeting meetings, and he was like, his expectation for his restaurants for growth is 2%.
Yeah.
Just better than last year. Yeah. That's all they want. And I'm like, see, and that's where it's at.
Reasonable.
Right? You make it reasonable, everybody wins, right? There's
smart
no
goals,
weird
right?
expectations
Reasonable?
out there.
Well, yeah,
realistic,
attainable.
Attainable, there you
go. But see, that's the other thing is like also, I mean, who knows what the structure is on ownership and whatnot, but if you're like expecting some sort of payout based on a 2% thing, it's much more modest and whatever, and it's like you're not going to... Yeah. You can be more like accounting shit. That's when you have unrealistic goals, when people start fudging shit.
Right.
Because the pressure is coming in, and my job's on the line, and you create more problems that way by having high.
It's really easy to fucking make your liquor inventory look good.
Oh, dude, I mean, there's no statute of limitations on anything I'm about to say, but I fucked up. Or I fudged so many inventory documents at the times like that I needed to. It wasn't a constant thing, but it's like I would rather figure out how to figure this out on the back end through my own channel.
We can absolve this
for some bullshit thing that you're gonna have to fucking like have conversations about.
We
got to reevaluate our systems.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, we're gonna need to get a case of Jack Daniels.
Right.
Fine.
Like I know a guy. I can get a case of fucking Kirkland brand vodka.
We're gonna need to get a case of Jack Daniels. We're gonna need to soften that bourbon cost.
We take this shit too fucking seriously.
Yeah,
everybody's fudging something here or there. It's like, stop it. Just fucking let's just all play a different game.
Yeah, and even at work, like I fucked something different up again, or like I was like stressing out.
Stop fucking up.
I know. Well, and the more I stress out,
it does. But come on, I was always kind of a bigger asshole in the meetings.
But
remember we'd have meetings and shit. I'm like, fuck them.
But my fuck ups are just like being a human being that's alive. Like they're not anything like I know that. But like someone said to me, he's like, "We're selling crab, dude. Like no one's life's on the line. It's cool." And I was like, "Oh right, okay." Yeah,
I always tell people, I'm like, we're not launching the fucking space shuttle here, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
always. I remember you saying that all the time.
We're not flipping the lights on for the first time in Times Square. We're just selling booze.
But it's like it's these expectations that are put on us to take this as seriously as like a paid salaried manager or somebody that owns a restaurant or owns whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
it's like I'm just here to honestly like and to be fair, like I was that person for a long time. Like,
yeah,
not that I put that expectation on people that worked for me, but like that was on myself.
Yeah, for you.
But what the fuck for?
Yeah.
This is just a job. It doesn't. This isn't define somebody. I mean, it gives you money so you can hopefully live your life. And if you're passionate about what you do naturally, then fucking good on you.
Right.
Don't take that away. But to have these people think that their job should be their life, and it's like I answer phones. My mom answered phones for a living at
Yeah.
Hewitt for the back 20 years of her life.
Right.
And it's like the expectations that are put on these people to like
Hewlett-Packard?
get through. No, at the Kaiser Permanente.
Oh, right, yeah.
The health insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
And the expectations they put on these people to like get the amount of calls in, and you can only spend 2 minutes with them, and this
right,
is like
that call center shit.
you know,
yeah.
and it's like fuck off, man.
Soul-sucking
Nobody cares
shit.
about this
Yeah.
shit. They're just here to collect a
Soul-sucking.
paycheck and a
Yeah.
pension. Like, just let it be that.
I've had some very good conversations with the people on usually those things, because most of the time, if you're just even respectful and nice and talk to them as a fucking human being doing their job,
Right.
just
Yeah.
trying to get through the day, don't be the fucking asshole.
Exactly.
Knowing that
Is it
they're
odd-
clocking out and going home too at some
It's
point. Yeah.
so fucking funny.
Yeah. So there are. She did tell me there are processes for dealing with assholes, and you put them on hold a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, if you just be somewhat polite and act like a human being, you'll be just fine, and you'll probably get what you need.
Yeah. Quicker than you wouldn't.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
But these expectations
I
we put
know.
on ourselves, but knowing that, like, it's our goal in our own way to start releasing that shit,
Yeah.
right?
So-
Feeling comfortable not wearing makeup and feeling comfortable
Right. Yeah.
Like, I remember you used to give me shit about not wearing shoes all the time when I first got out of the restaurants and started doing like the first few recordings we would do. You're like, when was the last time you wore shoes? And now I take that as like a badge of honor. It's like, I'm so happy to
Haven't
not
worn
like,
shoes.
Yeah, dude,
I
you were
used to wear
FaceTiming with
3-piece
Michael
suits.
Franti yesterday.
Yeah, hey.
Everyone deserves music and not wear shoes.
I actually don't have any musicians coming up, but you know, it took me a long time to get to that mentality myself of like breaking the expectations of having to like dress up
Yeah,
or like
right.
feel that I needed to go buy nice, quote unquote, nice clothes like slacks
Just
or
want to wear my
best of
Crocs.
shirts.
We're
And I'm
going
like,
out. I'm wearing my Crocs.
Totally. Like-
Not because they're like a statement. It's because I don't want to put anything on my feet.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, your Crocs are my cardigan.
Yeah,
You know, just I'm gonna throw on my
Your
Mr.
Crocs
Rogers
are my
cardigan. I feel like I'm wearing a hug, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
out and feel good about life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I saw Pedro Pascal the other day. Like, you know, he had that shoot that he was doing with the co-star from that HBO show he was doing.
Yeah.
Fucking, I can't remember the name of it. But he had his hand on his heart, and she asked him. You know, she was like, put your hand down. And he's like, no, I keep it here. He's like, this is where I hold my anxiety. And if you look at pictures of him, he always
He's
has
always
his hand on his
there.
heart, and he's always holding
I
that.
love that guy.
And it's like, that's so beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
and now let's make that more out there that everybody's got this shit, and let's not be shy about how we have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm not going to make myself uncomfortable to make you more comfortable or
Exactly.
to do, something
Yeah.
that you think I need to be doing. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of where we're at right now is like we've kind of put society standards in these boxes, and the boxes are being shattered, like with gender identities and with, being able to, talk about our emotions, men crying,
Yeah.
things like this. And the shattering of this is obviously very jarring for a lot of people. But the freedom that is being felt from whoever is shattering that perception severely outweighs the jarring of society that's happening.
Yeah.
And that jarring of society that's happening will settle. It's like a wave. It'll settle in its own right. But those boundaries needed to be broken, and those boxes. And this is the continuation of those expectations, those perceptions blasting out. And let's keep asking those questions. It's like, why do we do this stuff?
Yeah.
Why do we expect, whatever we expect?
Well, and
for
I
our
think
own
it's happening
personal
on like
things.
a really big scale, even with like all the strikes that are happening with Hollywood and writers. They're like, we're not doing this shit anymore,
the ripple
man.
effect of that is
Yeah.
going to be huge.
Yeah.
I just had a friend on to talk about that a couple weeks ago, and like all of what they're talking about is basically the underpinning of universal basic income and how artificial intelligence is going to sweep through and start taking multiple people's
Right.
jobs.
Right.
And how are we going to be part of that? Are we going to let that happen? Are we going to create safety nets around that so that when people do lose their jobs in these industries, because it just does make sense to move artificial intelligence to certain places?
Sure.
Are we creating a financial backing for those people that have lost their jobs to now be sustained, because billions of people can't just pivot?
Right.
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 And that's where it's going to be. So this is like the wave that this is creating is going to be huge. We have I don't even think we have understanding of the depth.
And also that same unrealistic expectation of money making and
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to cut corners. We're not going to pay these people what they're worth. We're not, and these people that have been taking it up the ass for years without any kind of like support are finally like, we're not playing this game anymore. You were going to pay me what I'm worth. You were going to like treat me like a human being, like even just like crew members and having 24-hour freaking work cycles and like all that stuff. Like it's just, I think it's happening that you're right. Like I think because our biggest form of religion or like royalty or religion in this country is entertainment.
Hollywood.
So for that to be happening at that level, I'm worried for those people right now financially, but like I'm excited to see what's going to come of it because I think it will be big in one way or another.
Yeah.
And hopefully a good way and not longer bad way for them, but
yeah, there's a big just many industries will be impacted by this whole understanding. So
plus I'm ready for new content. I can't believe it.
Well, and that's what my buddy was saying is like right now
A League of Their Own got canceled. I'm devastated.
We're not going to feel the full effects of the writer-actor strike until 2025 because things are still being put out that were already in progress or already made.
Yeah.
And so new recordings aren't going to be made right now.
No.
And so
years.
like he said, 2025, 2026 is when we're going to feel it.
When speaking of like new content, when you sent out the text message about expectations, the immediate thing I thought of was, do you remember the Mad TV sketch, the lowered expectations?
Yeah,
like like the video dating service. It's like fucking. Hi, my name's Tony. People say I look like Tony Danza. Yeah, who's the boss?
Dude, I just saw something the other day because Paul Rubin passed away, and I know fucking Pee Wee Herman. But so apparently, the first time he brought the character Pee Wee out into the public was on a dating show. He was on one of the big popular ones. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Oh, like Love Connection or something.
Not Match Game, but
one of the ones where it's like the three different contestants and the girl asks a bunch of questions.
See them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets eliminated and you go home with the person. So he said that was and they showed a video of like him being Pee Wee Herman on the match show, the match game. Fuck, what is it?
I don't
none
know.
of us have our phones. Yeah,
he won. Yeah, and he said that was the first. Well, actually, he said when he auditioned for it because he walked into the audition as Pee Wee Herman, like just that's who he was.
Yeah,
like not saying he's playing a character, it's just that's who he was. And everybody just stopped and looked, and he was like, that was the immediate moment that I realized how important Pee Wee Herman was.
I had something.
It's like, holy shit.
Oh.
but seeing him on the dating show, it was like really fucking funny.
I'm gonna have to look that shit up.
See,
that's hilarious.
It's interesting because growing up or watching Pee Wee's Playhouse and all that stuff, obviously 93, I think 94, he got arrested, which was, other people got arrested, but it's just like he literally went like dark, and was quote canceled. So I guess maybe that was an early cancellation there.
That was,
yeah,
totally.
That was.
I remember. I can see his mugshot.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
long
hair.
Yeah.
It wasn't until early 2000s he popped back up. Really?
Yeah, wasn't he in Blow? He was in Blow, and that was the first time I saw him in Blow.
He did one of my favorite episodes of 30 Rock. If you haven't watched it, it's called Black Tie, and it is one of my favorite things he's ever done.
I don't remember him.
And he plays a Habsburg prince, so the Habsburgs are the inbred.
That was him. Holy shit. I never put that together. He had the little hands.
Thank you all for coming to my birthday. He's got his like porcelain hands. Mandy and I quoted all the fucking, he can't metabolize the grapes. Like it is the best thing he has ever done. God. It is my favorite fucking Paul Rubin character, other than Pee Wee Herman.
I never knew that was
Habsburg.
Paul Rubin until just now.
Yeah,
That makes so much sense.
Interpretive. 12. It's so fucking good. I fucking love that.
Holy shit. That is a really good one. Fucking hell. 30 Rock. I love that show.
Was fucking funny.
Tracy Morgan's character in that show was the best.
Because it's just Tracy, man.
It's just so fucking, he's so goddamn good.
Because he doesn't have any fucking limitations, expectations, or perceptions. He is just himself always.
Always.
And those people that don't follow any of those things are the people that I'm like, God, I wish I could be that person. And it's like, you can be.
Yeah, you can.
You
totally.
can.
Yes, you can. And
you can be your own version of that.
Just stop caring about what other people think. I mean, there's still like,
difference between doing that and just being an asshole to people.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you
can live completely your own self life without being a dickhead.
Yes. There's actually a story, Simon Sinek, this guy I follow, he's like a manager or a positive speaker and all this shit. He's fantastic, actually. But he was telling a story about how he went to go see his one of his friends' plays. And she'd been acting for a long time, and he had never been able to see one of her plays. And she was really excited, and she was like, okay, fine, I'll come see your play. And he went with a bunch of friends, and he said that he observed the play, and he did not like it at all. Really didn't like it. But after the show, they were all backstage, and the friend came up and was like, "Hey, what did you think of my play? What did you think?" And he, had, could have taken that brutal honesty kind of route and said, "It sucked. I'm sorry." Could have lied to her, but what he said and what he chose to do was he was like, I chose to tell her the truth about what I liked. And so he told her, I really loved seeing you in your element. It was so beautiful. You were amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And all of that to him was true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What she did, put herself out there, was being
and that's
an
all
actor.
she needed to hear.
Exactly.
That's as an artist. Any notes you have about the show that you just saw that I was in, please keep it to yourself because I already have 1,000 in mind.
Right.
It's funny because I remember I had a regular from a job like 15 years ago when I was bartending go to one of my gigs, and he's like, "It was cool to see what you were all about." So that was probably his way of doing the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. Like
I'm gonna use
from
that.
From a yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
it's cool to see what you're all about.
It takes your opinion out of it because
Yeah.
it's like, well, my opinion of what you're doing shouldn't even matter. The fact that you're doing what you're doing is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, good for you for getting up there and doing
And that
what
was
you're
the whole
doing.
thing is like, fucking, on Big Lebowski, the landlord doing the one man fucking performance. He's just like,
So bad. Oh my god. That's one of the most awkward
It's
fucking
so
movie
fucking
scenes
good.
in the history
All
of
three
movie
of them are
scenes.
watching it. All three of them are there just like... Love it if you could give me some notes, dude.
God, that is so fucking awkward.
That's such a good way to do it without sounding patronizing, though. I love that. Like, it's just great to see what you're all about.
Yeah,
like,
see
it
what
was,
you're all
I'm
about.
really excited to see what you're all about. Like, that is I'm so gonna use that.
Yeah.
I have so many opportunities to
I
use
bet
that
I'm
too.
about to say, you're in entertainment opportunities
That's
a
like
lot.
saying
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I love
That's
that for
great.
you.
So fucking awesome.
All right. Anything else on expectations?
No, do y'all want to go take a dip in the pool or?
Oh
Yeah,
shit, is it
right?
still
yeah,
up?
Yeah. Well, actually, the kiddie pool's like half limp, hanging off something like MC Escher style. We can go figure that out.
I just love the indomitable spirit of Monica.
Oh.
This will not be wavered.
It will not. It will not.
Couldn't have gone front yard?
That's what I thought.
We share the front yard with our neighbor, and we haven't really met those neighbors yet, the new neighbors. So it was be ostentatious of us to be like,
Yeah, the front
Hey.
yard
Yeah,
pool is
that's a big statement.
Morning, shitter was full. Yeah. That's very much that vibe.
I just took my new car and took the wheels off.
Yeah. That's cool.
See you next time,
Fucking
folks.
white trash.